Well, hey y'all, it's Kirsten with the Wooden Butterfly, where we're all about the transformation. And today we're transforming my office, studio slash workshop space. Yeah, come on, it's gonna be fun. So this project this week is a lot of fun mixed with a lot of not so much fun, at least on my part anyways. I want to get this space looking pretty but practical to work in as well. So because this is where I do all my painting, this is where I do all my office work, this is where I do all the filming. So we want this to look pretty when I'm not working, as well as, practical when I am working. So if you remember this buffet from last week that we painted, the whole reason why I picked this color was because I wanted to put a mural back here. What was back here before was some corkboard tiles that I had put up, and I put some transfer on it, and it just always looked messy. It always looked handcrafted, which I don't like. So I thought it would be really pretty to put the mural up here. The only problem was is that this mural had already been, parts of it had already been used. So I had a very narrow, tall ceiling bathroom in my store when I had it. So I used half of it in that, on the wall in that store. But now I had the other half. The other half is tall and not very wide. So this wall was wider than what the mural was, and I didn't want just, a rectangle up here. So I think I came up with a solution. Let me know in the end if you think it worked out well. So I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to roll up my sleeves, a lot of organizing and a lot of cleaning and purging to do. All the stuff that I hate, but we need to do it because we want to get this space looking pretty and practical so that I can work in here, because this is my office space, this is my filming space, this is my workshop space. So we need to make it so that it looks pretty when I'm not working, but it's practical so that I still can work in here. So let's have some fun. So the first thing that I'm going to do is mark each one of the boards. What I did is I took a piece of Luan and I had them cut it into 2-foot sections at Lowe's. And now, so that's why I marked each section so I knew where to place it on the mural itself, so that I could cut it into 3 sections. I figured I would take the mural, cut it into 3 sections, and then frame them so that it looked like, picture frame molding with wallpaper inside was kind of my thought process. So I thought this would be an easier way than, trying to fully apply it to the wall, and then I can't remove it for one. But also, I just think it'll look a little more upscale, a little more sophisticated. So I measured out where the board would land and then cut each piece and then take it outside, and I'm going to apply this Gorilla adhesive. It's spray adhesive, and what they say to do is to spray each side and then let it get tacky. So you're going to let it get tacky for about a minute or so before applying the two together. So I sped this up so that you don't have to, this is kind of the boring part. We're just evenly applying that adhesive. I did both directions to make sure I was getting everywhere, because it's really hard to see where it's actually going. So now I brought it in and now I'm trying to lay it out. Remember, it's tacky. It's supposed to stick. So this guy, I had to figure out exactly how I was going to lay this down and get it straight, because it was a little awkward. And I figured out that if I folded it in half, that's a little bit easier piece to work with, and then place it down and get it so that the edges line up really evenly. So you're just gonna lightly press it at first, and then you can go ahead and start
rubbing out, making sure there aren't any bubbles anywhere, making sure every piece of the mural or the wallpaper is adhered to the back. I could have used wallpaper paste, but I figured the spray adhesive would just work better, and then I don't have to worry about getting a whole big bucket of wallpaper paste as well, since I didn't need very much. And I just went ahead and I grabbed my wallpaper squeegee smoother thingy and I'm just pressing out, making sure there's no bubbles and making sure everything is adhered really well. And then we'll be ready to go ahead and frame it out. So I picked up some trim molding from Lowe's, and then I'm just using my miter snips to go ahead and cut off 45-degree angles on each end, and I'm painting it with the same color that I used to blend into the buffet. Later on, I realized this color just didn't work right with the wall, and I don't know why, but for some reason I don't know, it just looked completely different. So I actually went back over these with the silk in the color Sun-Kissed. It lightened it a little and just made it a little more creamy.
So what I'm trying to do is I cut these all 4 foot lead length. The 2 end pieces are 2 feet, but I had them cut this Luan board at Lowe's, so I don't know the exact measurements that they cut it at. So each one I'm kind of having to adjust, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is just kind of line it up. So I want it to just come to the edge. And then I would need this one to come here. So then we're just going to mark it right there and then cut it down. And then we're going to go ahead and put them inside of our snips. Hold it down pretty good. Check it. Nope. Okay. So what I'm doing is just dry fitting this on here. I don't want to glue it down yet. That's why I said I'm going to clamp it and then do the other side. So you're going to get the measurements, on each one first. If you tried to glue this down and then you glue this down and then you notice, wait a minute, I'm a little too long on that side, then you can't adjust it. So if you dry fit it and clamp it down, then you can make your adjustments. But these snips come in so handy because you can just then cut it by hand and you don't have to drag out the chop saw for just this little tiny trim. So I think it's a win-win.
So I went ahead and just started clamping it down with no glue first to make sure that I have all the pieces measured out to the right lengths and that everything's fitting together really nicely. And then we'll come through and we will add the glue to the backs of each piece of the molding. If you notice, this isn't a traditional way of framing out something, but with the tools that I had and the knowledge that I had, I figured this was going to work out just fine. Since the Luan is not very thick, me laying the trim boards on the top of it really doesn't make that much of a difference. You really don't see it. So, like I said, with my knowledge and my tools, this is what worked for me. It might work for you. It's a much quicker way, probably, unless you are a skilled framer. Then a picture frame person, tech, or whatever it's called, then this is what works out really well. And of course, my supervisor had to come make sure I was doing everything properly. Oh goodness, he cannot leave my side whenever I'm doing anything. He's actually sitting right next to me now as I record this. Now once the glue is all in, we'll then clamp it down into place, and just be careful that your clamps aren't pulling the molding off of the edge. Now, as this dried, it didn't end up perfect. Some of it did shift and move a little bit more than what I would really have liked it to, but we just went with it. We're going to caulk the seams and go with it, because some of my corners were nicely bedded up perfectly, and then as it dried and kind of shifted, they aren't sewed together anymore. Apparently supervising just, wore him out. So this is the mess that I'm dealing with. This is the organizing part that I really need to fix. This is quite embarrassing, but like I said, this space is multi-purpose, and organizing is not my gift. I'll just put that out there. I try my best. But as you get going on projects, things kind of just get built up, and things I need to purge, I need to clean, I need to organize. And I thought this space right here where I keep my tools and things, I added this little thing to keep my stencils on, but this little shelf just isn't working anymore. So I think I have a better plan. I have some shelving that I had in my booth space that I think will just work out much better. So I added the brackets to the wall, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add the shelving boards on top of that, and it will hopefully look a little better. Not really sure. I used my laser level so that I could get the shelves lined up really nicely and to make sure they were level, because I'm known for, thinking I can eyeball it. And guess what? When it comes to something level, you really can't eyeball it. You need a level of some kind. So we'll just screw those brackets into place, and then we'll go ahead and put the boards on top. I also made sure that I was screwing into a stud so that as I put these heavy tools on there, it doesn't pull away from the wall. I also screwed the bracket onto the boards themselves so that the boards don't shift and move all over the place. So this is it after. It's a little better, not much, but what can you do? So while I've been cleaning and organizing, came across this painting. It was a paint by number little thing, and I thought that would look really cute hanging in the office. So I'm going to do the exact same process with the spray adhesive that I did on the wallpaper. This is canvas, but it works the same exact way. And again, I sped it up so you don't have to sit here through all the boring parts. It's just spraying some adhesive on there. And then you're going to line it up, and apparently this one needs to be folded in half too, and it's sticky. It's really sticky. Kind of jumping all over, but once you see it all together, you'll see why. I found this lamp that has been in my storage. I thought this would work really well with the buffet. I think the style would work really pretty. But the lampshade, well, it's broken, and I don't know how to fix it just yet. I found this other one, and it's really not the right style or size, but we're going to go with it because, well, time is of essence at this point, and we just need to get it done. And I wanted to give this lamp a nice little pop of hot pink. So we're using the color Peony by Dixie Belle. It's the chalk mineral paint. And we're going to give this 2 coats, And then after it's done, I sealed it with just some spray polyacrylic. And then I decided to go ahead and add painting to this other light fixture as well. It is one that I had made and was hanging in my store out of an old lantern or chandelier and lampshade, and then some chicken wire and some little crystals, and just kind of put something together. But a little pink. Is it just me, or do you do this too? Like any of my other creative brains out there, as you're cleaning and organizing, you just find more projects to work on? That seems to be my problem right now. I have too many projects. I don't know when to stop right now. Like, I want to make it perfect right now. This video will never go out if I do every single little thing. Like, I'd love to do a sliding, like a top sliding drawer in this drawer right here, because they're really deep. So if I had a sliding drawer, then I could organize some of that better. And I'd like to build out my tools a little. Like I'd like to build like a shelf where they can, you know, the power tools can actually slide in, and I just can't do it all. I just can't do it all right now. So we're gonna call it quits. I might do one more, maybe two little projects, and then we're gonna call it quits and put this office back together again. So I had picked up this little planner head at Home Goods when I was there early in the spring season, and I just thought she was just too cute. So I wanted to use her, but she just wasn't the right colors. Like, she was just too gray. So I took some of that drop cloth, and yeah, it's just a color drop cloth, and then I'm going ahead and adding some of the deep apricot that I used on the buffet and just kind of blending that in with a dry brush. I stippled this all on because it has texture to it. If you brushed it, you would have to use several coats, and it just wouldn't look right. So stippling is really the way to go on this particular type of piece. All I did was clean it first, and that's it. And then you just add the paint over the top. And then I'm adding a little bit of chocolate as well to get some of that aging in there so that it looks like aged stone, like it, you know, similar to what it did before, but a little lighter and brighter, a little fresher. And there she is. Isn't she cute? Now we're just going to add some clear wax on there first, because I want to take some dark wax to add into all of those details. You want to wipe off any of the excess first before you add the dark wax. And I know she looks like she's from a horror movie or been beat up or something right now, but trust me, trust the process. You just want to rub that dark wax into all of the crevices and nooks and crannies to kind of, like I said, really bring those details out. And then just wipe off any of the excess. And then I added a little more here and there just to add to that aging effect. I didn't use a whole lot. But now we will go ahead and add some of the greenery that I had laying around. And I know this is kind of a hodgepodge, but in the end I think it looks cute, and it's a good way to just store all that greenery that I use in staging and you know, some of my other projects. So I don't know, I think she looks cute. She's a little wild and crazy, but that's okay. I think she's really cute. What about you? So I took that little bead that I had, and I'm just going to spray it with some Rust-Oleum Gold spray paint, because W and B together is wooden butterfly. So that's what those letters are for. Now I'm going to go ahead and start hanging those framed out pieces onto the wall now that all the frames have dried and whatnot. But there are these lovely little strips on my wall, so we got to get those off first. We have to take a razor knife and cut the, because I painted over them. So you got to cut the sides so you don't peel all the paint off of the wall, and then just carefully pry them off, and then I took a chisel at the top to actually cut in. I didn't want to remove the whole thing and then have to patch the top portion, so I'm just cutting it where the actual mural is going to sit. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a video. And then we just pull it all off, and I did the chisel at the bottom so that it just cut it out where the mural was going to sit. And now we're ready to go ahead and put those up. Well, I'm just dry fitting it first to make sure I measured everything correctly. I'm visual, so I just got to make sure, all my measurements and all of that were done right. So then what I did is added some of the picture hanging Velcro strips on the back. And what I do is I put the two pieces together and then peel off the protective thing off this sticky part, and then apply that to the back of the frame. And then I go ahead and peel off the other side and then just stick that up onto the wall. I find that easier than trying to place them on the wall in the right places and then put them on the frame in the right places. This way just makes it so much easier. So I marked the center point of the mural, and then I'm just lining it up at my my laser line that I have up there, and the center is meeting me right there in the center of that mural. So now all I have to do is just press it into the wall. I really love these picture hanging strips rather than trying to do nails and trying to balance this correctly and get it level. It would just be, it would have been too much with each piece. So I really like the picture hanging strips much better. And I'm using one of my blocks that I use to raise my pieces up off the floor when painting to kind of measure the distance between each one so that I have a equal measurement between each one of the panels. And then we'll just go ahead and add that painting up as well. I framed it out the same as the other. I just doubled the molding so that it was a little bit wider, and then added some stain. Now we're gonna hang that light, that chandelier that I did. Just did a little pilot hole first with a screw, and then screwed in one of those what was it, plant hooks, I think they're called. And then we'll just go ahead and hang that light. My grandchildren were here as I was finishing this up this day, and I love it. My own little hype squad. She says, "Ooh, Mimi, it's so pretty." There were some holes over here where I had tried putting some shelves in before, so we had to patch those up. Now we'll start getting it all together again. I have a little cart to have all my supplies in where I paint. And then here's that lamp all together. My wild and crazy girl, my W and my B for wooden butterfly. She's coming together. This is the fun part. Now we'll add some bookends that I've had, and this was a little thing to hold my it's actually to hold pictures, but they're some of my family members, and a candle, my husband and I when we were very young, and my whole crew there, and now I added my silhouette down on the bottom half of my desk, and some of my books that I need. And then I added some Big Mama's butter in the fresh and clean scent to the top of my desk to give it a good refresh. Added my files and some of the other books that I need. Added some all of my painting and my washi tape and my glue guns and all the other little fun stuff that I call office supplies. Your office supplies might look a little different, but you know, when you're a jack of all trades, you need a little bit of everything. I have some other files on the other side and all of my vinyl for the silhouette in the bottom drawer. Now my chair, I'm ready to redo her as well as that little chair in the corner, but I had a little riser because I like to have my laptop up a little bit, so I'm not slouching over so much. Just add my pencils back on here and pens and just my other little cute decor. So remember the disaster it was before. What do you think of her now? It's not exactly the way I thought it would come out. Everything is not perfectly organized. There's many other projects that I would like to do to kind of complete this space. But for now, she makes me happy. For now, the space just feels calming and excites me to get some more work done. So I think for that, we have a win. Let me know in the comments below what you think or what I maybe could change to make this space a little more efficient. Also, if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell if you don't ever want to miss a video. Next week, we have a super fun, quick project for beginners.